getting started. So I just want to be transparent with you because I don't believe enough of our mentors, leaders show um, their beginning stages and how they had to stumble and learn certain things from personal experience, just from going through it and bumping their heads and losing money. A lot of times you see the the praise of how they got there, and this is what I did. I worked hard, and but you necessarily know, or you don't necessarily get that valuable information on what did you actually go wrong at that actually made the business better or made you better at what you was doing. So I wrote down three things that I feel that can literally help you in the situation, as far as not doing what I did, not wasting time, not wasting money, not wasting your energy. All of those are very, very valuable. Time, money, energy, all of those are very valuable. So to keep from doing that, I'm gonna give you three things. And the first thing is not advertising, and not advertising spending money with my ads. So I started off at first just trying to just knock on doors and pass out cards, and that's a good hustle, don't get me wrong. But your money can help you get places that you won't be able to go. If you construct an ad and you pay for your ad properly, that ad can get in front of people that you necessarily won't be able to get in front of, or it'll be able to target people that you didn't know that need your services or your products. So not spending money on advertisement is not a wise thing to do. Spend money on your advertisement. If you have to start off small, that's fine, but spend money on your advertisement. And the more you grow, the more money you want to spend on your advertisement. I think increasing your advertising budget as you grow is wise. I wouldn't keep it the same if you're trying to reach new clients and spread your brand. You want to always increase your spread. You want to always have a way to advertise it. Not only, now that's another thing that I didn't do starting out. Not only did I not advertise spending money properly, like spending money where it needed to be spent as far as the advertisement go, but I didn't get a website starting out. So for those who think that it's not important to advertise on the website, it is important. Now you don't have to have um, no state of the art, but you need a presence. You need an online presence. You need to at least buy your domain until you can figure it out. That way, can nobody get it, and you can actually get your website built later. So it's very important, man, to buy your domain. I think they cost anywhere from $8 to $10, $8 to $12 for a domain name. So it's important that once you do start out independently, I would say make you a Gmail, Yahoo, whatever you use of the business name. Make you a um, make you a website domain with the business name, and then get you an online presence like Facebook, Instagrams, things like that. Get you an online presence on what people spend a lot of time on. So Facebook, we know that a lot of people spend time on, and then you have different people that say, "Well, I'm not on Facebook. I don't want to do this." Well, I'm gonna keep it real with you. You don't have to be on there participating in the drama, what say, or just going through wasting time. But you need to have an online presence on there. Not having an online presence on there is going to hurt you, I'm telling you, because a lot of people browse and use Facebook, and if you don't have in presence, or at least uh, a cover showing that, hey, here go my number, here go what I do, something, then that'll hurt you as well. So make sure that you spend money on your advertisement, and make sure that you advertise properly. And the second thing would be not having all the tools to get the job done. Man, let me tell you something. Not having the tools needed at first, like assuming. Don't I heard a guy said assume when you assume something to make an ass out of you and me. You know what I mean? So don't assume nothing. Just know what you need, man. Don't get to a job site thinking, oh yeah, I just need this. No, know what you need, because you're gonna waste time, you're gonna waste money. You're gonna wait. It's gonna be frustration. That energy you're gonna waste again, because you're not as pumped as you was, and then you might have people that cause you issues on a job. You always have someone on a job, man, that's a prick, someone that's that overdo the job, um, an engineer or a safety man that's just like a headache. I don't. You always have one of them somewhere you go. So it's always good to prepare yourself properly. Like I like to say, proper preparation prevents piss poor performance because you're gonna waste so much time and energy not doing that. And the other thing I would say is, with not having the right tools is it's going to make the job take longer. Like you're going to waste time on that job because you didn't have everything you need. And then once I got into the mood of making sure, it's kind of like you have to find your niche. Once you find your niche and you know what you specialize in and what you do, you pretty much keep a kit on you of the things you need to get certain things done. And then if you do service calls, you might have a lot of different things that you might need. You know what I mean? But it's good to ask the people exactly what's going on, see photos of it if possible, let you see it. I didn't have them take a video and send it to me before, or they go around it so I can really see it because sometimes people don't explain things and you can see it better if you can see a video or a photo of it before you get there. That's wise. That way you can have the tools needed to do what needed to be done and you won't show up and having to leave and show up and having to leave. Man, I remember I did a job for a contractor. I swear this guy left in an 8 hour day. This guy probably left three, four times. And we probably worked literally out of an 8 hour day. He paid me for 8 hours. I probably worked for three and a half because he had to leave constantly and I was waiting on him. You still paying me for my time. You see what I'm saying? So you can lose like that. So if you're not prepared, you can be paying people just to sit around and it's your fault. You know what I mean? Because you wasn't prepared. So make sure that you stay prepared, man. It's very, very important to have the tools you need. Um, it, I'm not saying, everybody got different fields, so I don't know what tools you might need for what you're doing. Just sit down and think about, come up with a list of what you do, what you specialize in, and make sure you have those tools because those tools are really going to help you make money, save time. You know what I mean? Um, and the last one, number three, not knowing how to price my welding jobs. Oh my goodness, I lost a lot of money. Hey man, you got to learn how to price your jobs. It's important, and it all depends on the individual, what you're doing, the services, um, what you're willing to do for the customer. Sometimes you get there and the customer want to add on more stuff than what was told, and you already gave them a deal. Now you in over your head because you think you want to please this person, and because they promise you they have future work. Oh man, you do this for me, I'm gonna bring you a whole lot of more work. Hey, don't let them sell you no dreams. I had a man told me, he said, if a person come to you and promise you something and say, man, I'm about 1,000 of them, man, I'm gonna do this and this, but I need this and this, for this price right now. And you getting all happy, I'm gonna get this here for this price, but I'm gonna get 1,000. The guy said, have you got it yet? So what you happy for? You know what I mean? It's always good to just say, okay, if you want this amount, then you're gonna have to buy some first. I don't move off of promises and wishes. There's no need to get yourself caught up because a lot of people, for some strange reason, them numbers get to going up, or we get to thinking of ways we can spend the money. Man, I got this bill. I gotta get out this debt. Oh, I need to buy this. I can get this truck. I get this new tool. Like we think of ways to spend the money before we even make the money, and that's something that you shouldn't do. Don't spend your money before you make it. You know what I mean? It's just something that I learned personally. You know what I mean? Because we do it sometimes. We get ourselves in a bind on certain bids and contracts because we didn't spend the money before we made the money. So now we got to go do this BS and we got to go listen to this dude or we got to go through these changes because we didn't price things right and uh, we didn't sit down and just think about all the ins and outs. And like I say, pricing is a difficult thing. It all depends on what you're doing. I can give you a bare minimum. In the US, there's a average of $65 to 165 to $125 or $150. I think it's now 65 to $125 an hour on welding services, mobile welding services. or in shop, and then it can go up due to fabrication of certain material or whatever need to be done. But on an average, if you're starting out doing mobile welding services, me personally, I wouldn't go cheaper than $50 an hour. That's to me, that's a good start. If you're getting started, I wouldn't go under $50 an hour using my equipment, especially if you're using like your wire equipment or a little generator or you got a small little welder, man, that's good money because you're making way, more money for your time. And some people try to say, well, I got to make this much, I got to make that much. Nah, man, don't get caught up because then you'll lose money. Have your bare minimum. I would say, you know, at least $50 an hour if you're going to them and you're using gas, like a gas powered, unit, or you got to go to them driving away and you're using the electric unit with that power. You know what I mean? Now, if they're supplying the machine or whatnot, and you're just using your time, and they need you to come out there to weld it, me personally, my limit, I wouldn't do it for no less than $25 an hour. But on a average, I charge 30, 35, depends on the distance and what I'm doing. If I'm coming up just welding only, or if I'm coming up and I'm welding and fabricating, or if I'm coming up and I'm welding, fabricating, and installing. If I'm doing all of that, plus I got to use my personal tools and stuff, and I'm gonna be running the job and just using your tools, it's $35 an hour. You know what I mean? That's just what it is. That's what I'm gonna charge. No less than 30. No less than 30. Like no less if I'm doing all that. Now, if I'm just welding only, coming up, showing up, welding, you know what I mean? $25 an hour. That's my minimum. You know what I mean? Now, I have did it too for $20 an hour, cash. When it's straight cash, I'm gonna tell you, hey man, I need you to do. I'm gonna pay you straight cash or straight pocket, and I'm using that stuff. I go out there and make that $20 an hour quick. That's easy money. You know what I mean? So I won't tell you not to get it, but I wouldn't move for my skills and having to travel, having to go under $20 an hour. It's just me personally. But know how to price your jobs, man. Pricing your jobs is very, very, very important. And it can cause you to fail. It can cause you to go under if you don't know how to price them. Know how to price. Um, Another thing to learn how to price when you're doing in-shop fabrication. Me personally, I wouldn't do in-shop fabrication no less than $50 an hour. That's my minimum. That's my thing. $50 an hour. I wouldn't do no in-shop fabrication no less because it takes material, time, equipment. You might have some people helping you doing it. It's just what it is. You got to. I mean, if you're starting a business, you're trying to make money. You're not in it just to get by or just to help someone out. You know what I mean? And you need to count when you're doing your bidding for your shop. Think of this. Think of your cut time. How long if you got to cut material, so you got cut time. Think of your weld time. How long it's going to take you to weld. Think of your cleanup time. How long it takes you to clean up everything. And think of your if you have to paint, you want your last preparation stage of painting and shipping. So you have 4 to 6 different things, or 3 to 6 different things you can actually charge for when you're doing fabrication. You want to make definitely you got to charge for your cutting time, your cleanup, your weld time. So those three off the top, and then if you're painting it or priming it or whatever, you got that time involved too. You're painting or whatever, and the materials that's involved. So you want to price your material, and this is what I would do just as a rule of thumb, because some people ask me, well, how do you price the material? Or how, when you're doing the order, what is the rule of thumb to, like, if you got to place the order for the client? This is what I do personally. Everybody is different, but me personally, I do 25%. So whatever the total was of me putting this order together, calling these people, putting this thing together, I'm gonna put 25% on top of that for my time and effort of doing everything. And I think that's just wise and just smart. You know what I mean? That way, you getting paid for your time, you getting compensated while you're doing the bid. All of that is included in the number when when you're presenting it to them or whatnot. But it's very important to learn how to bid your jobs, man. Learn your value, learn your limits, be realistic. Um, don't have the big head. Be willing to be flexible, but have morals. Don't put yourself in something just because you see this fancy number flashing in your head. I remember going to do a contract one time for a guy in Tempe, Arizona. I never forget. and he was a fabrication and installer. He did like custom gates, fences, and stuff like that, custom work out of TIG and MIG. So I went to his office. He needed me. He was hiring me to do an install, taking like a 2 day job. So I see all these papers on his desk. He left out the room. I see all these papers on his desk, like he had a stack of lawyer papers. Like I'm like, damn, what the fuck he got going on? So he came back in there, he was on the phone. He's like, man, I got so much on my plate, man. Been stressed out, this and this. And I'm like, man, what's going on? He said, man, I got this person suing me because I took this job. I took too long. Now they want to give me the money back, but I took this job to cover that job. And he was like all over the place. But he was talking about how he got this new plane, he got this new truck, woo, woo, but he got all these bills. See, a lot of times we would do things for the luxuries and get ourselves in extreme debt. So I learned something from talking to that man. You know what I mean? You can't. You ever heard that old saying, don't rob Peter to pay Paul? Don't do that, man. Because you ain't gonna get nowhere. All you're doing is chasing your tail, chasing your tail. You're gonna have to pay your debt and you're gonna have to suffer first. You might not be able to drive that car. You might not be able to have that female that you're trying to get. Because I done heard dudes do that too. Oh man, I can get this girl once I get this Range Rover, man, and get this nice truck lifted up 8 inches and a nice. Hey man, whatever you're trying to do, I'm not knocking what you're trying to do. All I'm saying is you're gonna have to do it in stages. You're gonna have to be wise, or you're gonna go broke, or you ain't gonna make it. I'm just gonna be realistic with you. So know how to price your jobs, know what tools you need, and make sure you advertise. Advertise, advertise. Spend your money on your advertisement. So those are just some encouraging words, man, I wanted to give you today. Um, it was just a few things I was thinking about. Someone actually asked me about this a while back, and I just want to be transparent and just share some of my flaws with you because I learned this just jumping into it, man. Some things I heard an old man tell me, so you ain't gonna never learn it until you jump off the porch. Hey, I jumped off the porch, literally, and I've been learning this thing, um, brushing my shoulders, shaking hands, meeting people, fabricating, going wrong, getting fixing it, going back. You know what I mean? So I had to find my niche. So hopefully these tools and these three things to look out for on my own personal mistakes can help you from making any. Hold on.